Adults are not the only ones experiencing fear and uncertainty brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Children are also facing uncertain times with the disruption of their school activities, even relationships. And although we can't control a lot of these circumstances, parents can do a lot to help build resilience in their children. Dr. Stephanie Hansen, a pediatrician at Sanford Health, is here to talk about how we can model and teach those lifelong resilience skills. Good morning, doctor. How's it going?
It's going great. Good morning.
And so a lot of people are wondering, how can we help our kids while they're dealing with all of the emotions of everything that is going on right now?
Yeah, I think it's really important as parents, and I talk a lot about this, is to really model that behavior in yourself. That's the best way our children learn, is by watching and emulating their parents. So if you're feeling stressed and uncertain and anxious about what's happening in the world, you'll transmit those feelings to your children. So step one is to just really work on your own emotional regulation. And that's doing things like making sure you're sticking to a regular schedule and routine with your sleep and your eating habits, making sure you're getting regular exercise. All of those things we do to take care of our physical body can also help our mental health. I think the next step is really showing ourselves some grace and compassion when we're feeling anxious and overwhelmed, or feeling like something didn't go the way we anticipated. It's really about taking a step back, giving ourselves some compassion and love, and modeling that for our children as well. And then finally, I think it's about avoiding catastrophizing. So our natural inclination for many of us is to really think about what's the worst thing that could happen right now? What's the worst case scenario? Very often that's unlikely to happen, but by focusing on it and giving it energy, that actually increases your anxiety and your feeling of unwellness. So really coaching your kids and helping them to focus on what's positive about your situation right now. What can you do to help feel better, rather than focusing all that energy on what's the worst thing.
That's a lot of really good advice. I think a lot of people just recognize that in themselves when you probably said it. I know I did. But a lot of kids, they're pretty disappointed. They can't be with their friends. They can't go to their normal activities that they would normally go to. So how do you help a child cope with that? Because we can't be like, okay, no, it's fine. You can go play basketball with 20 different people. That's not a solution. So what can parents do to make them feel a bit better about the situation?
Yeah. Again, it's not so much about focusing on what you can't do, but we're creative and flexible people as parents. And I think it's about creating new rituals, new routines, new things to look forward to and to bring joy. So maybe thinking about some things that you haven't done in the past, whether that's a regular movie night, whether that's doing a cooking activity together, whether that's being outside together with your child and enjoying some physical exercise. It's that process of creating new things to look forward to, rather than focusing on what you're missing out on.
Yeah, kids really become sounding boards of their parents. So if you're always focused on the negative, I think the kids are going to pick up on that too. But is there more to building resilience that you want folks out there to know about?
I just remember that it's a process, and it's not going to happen overnight. It takes some intention, and it takes some work on a parent's part. And just like we work hard to mold and shape other types of behaviors in our kids, this is something that's doable as well.
And I think a lot of people need to be reminded that I don't think anyone else right now has really ever parented during a pandemic. So as the parent, do you want to just talk about how maybe they should just take it a little bit easier on themselves? Or what advice would you have for them if they start maybe being a little self-critical?
Well, we put so much pressure on ourselves to have this be perfect. And just like you said, this is uncharted territory. So really giving yourself some compassion and say, you know what, I'm going to work on getting this right. I'm going to work on supporting my child and my family. I might not get it right all the time. And being honest with your child about those missteps can really be a useful thing too. If they see you offering yourself compassion and forgiveness, they may be able to practice and promote that skill in themselves.
Giving yourself compassion and forgiveness. I think we need to hear that a little bit more and extending it to other people as well. But Dr. Stephanie Hansen, thank you so much for joining us here this morning. Coming up here on today's show, we are helping teens better understand how they can handle their money, a topic a lot of folks want their kids to hear about. So stay with us. We'll have more on it right after this break.